한국의 20대, 30대는 리얼 스테이트에 굉장히 관심이 많고
네.
참여도 많이 하는데
네.
미국의 20대, 30대들도 부동산에 어떻게 하고 있는지.
Okay.
네.
So
지금 이 시대에서 성장에 대한 이야기를 나누는 시간, 토크 온 투업입니다. 오늘은 이제 미국에서 오신 아주 귀한 손님을 모셨습니다. 미국에서 온 제프리입니다. 반갑습니다.
감사합니다. Yes, my name is Jeffrey Lee. I am originally from Los Angeles, and for college I went to Boston University, where I concentrated in real estate and finance. Currently I am working in investment banking, but previously I had a part-time here at Refunding, and I had a great experience here. I think my school life was pretty good. I think I was an average student, a little bit above average, where I always got all of my work done. But I was always interested in many other things, so I was always a part of clubs, different clubs. So I was part of the real estate club, I was part of the finance club, and from there I made a lot of friends, and I had a great time in college.
What is a club?
So a club is kind of an organization where you connect with other students and you have a professor as your mentor.
Okay.
And this mentor teaches you about like the ins and outs of the industry and helps you network with the industry as well.
What made you interested in the real estate industry?
So from a very young age, my mom also works in real estate, and ever since then she would always tell me about the real estate work that she has done. So I've always heard like real estate terms growing up, and my first job was actually working at a real estate agency, and I got to experience leasing rental properties. And then once I got to college, I really saw how big the real estate industry could be. You know, you could go from rental properties, you could go from flipping houses, you could go from buying houses, mortgaging, refinancing, a lot of the different things you could make it into portfolio. So I saw the flexibility and the versatility of real estate, and that's what kind of intrigued me to study it.
Okay, how old were you when you started real estate business, a leasing agency?
So my mom started talking to me about real estate since I was 10 years old. Like
Really?
I would go into the office with her, I would see all the documents, all the leases she signed. But my first job at the real estate agency was in high school when I was 14 years old.
Okay, so and why you come to Korea? It must not have been easy. What brought you to Korea?
네, 대표님은 잘 알고 근데 많이 힘들었죠. 저. It was very difficult for me to come to Korea, but I wanted to study at 서울대학교 to study abroad, but unfortunately that got canceled because of COVID.
Yes.
So I was unable to come to Korea and study. And being from a Korean background, I've always wanted to experience my culture. And my grandma also raised me when I was younger. So I really want to experience and learn about the culture that my grandma always shared, the food that she always fed me. And losing that opportunity to study in Korea, I was trying to think of creative ways to be able to come to Korea and be able to continue my career in some way.
So you you carried out many research work.
Right.
So what do you think about the value of the research?
So the value of research was very, very valuable to me. For instance, I was able to see the economy and the real estate aspect of Korea entirely because, as you said, I was working in multiple different industries.
Yes.
So I kind of got a grasp of the whole entire Korean economy. I definitely see potential in the Korean economy, especially in real estate as well. And I think it's pretty similar to the US as well. I mean, there is some key differences, but I think there are a lot of investment opportunities that are available in the economy. And based off this research, I did learn a lot, even carrying forward to my future careers where I'm working right now, where I'm doing a lot of valuation and doing a lot of cash flows and that kind of thing. It's been a huge, huge help to me because getting that real work experience.
Yeah. 그 말을 들으니까 되게 기분이 좋네요.
네, 감사합니다.
So in your work in refunding, it helps you, right?
Yeah, it really has helped me in my future career and what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So what did you learn and how did you grow while working at refunding?
So a lot of things that I learned is we also worked on presentations for the
Yes.
information memorandum.
Yep.
And when I was focused physically, mostly on financial techniques and technical analysis, working on presentations kind of got into my creative side where I've never really tapped into before.
Yeah.
So working in design and kind of putting everything together
Yes.
really has helped me as well, and something I learned from refunding.
Yeah, that was your first making information memorandum.
Right. Yeah, that was my first time, so it
Okay.
was very helpful
Yeah.
and knowledgeable.
I remember that. Yeah, we made some coffee shop project.
Right.
Yeah. How did you grow after coming to Korea? I think there's many changes.
Right. I think the biggest point that I've noticed so far is living by myself.
Okay.
I have to take a lot of responsibility for myself. I have to pay for my own phone bill.
Okay.
I have to pay for my own rent. I have to pay for my own groceries, do all my laundry. And I think in that aspect, I had to grow a lot. And also just there's a cultural difference. I believe that my Korean language skills
Okay.
has gotten a lot better. I'm able to have a business conversation finally, and I think that's the most points. Like being financially stable, I've grown as a person, and also like culturally, I've been growing as a person, and socially, I've been growing as a person. When I go out, meet with friends, sometimes they aren't the best people. Drinking all the time, so kind of cutting out and just trying to figure out like who has good intention and who has bad intention. So when I was younger, everything was fun, everything, I was kind of immature, but as I'm growing, I see maturity and like, he has good intention, I should be, closer with him, or I should like kind of distance myself from him.
Yeah, that is always difficult, right? Yeah,
Right.
in anywhere.
Right.
Yeah. So could you please compare the growth in US and Korea?
Right. So I think what I was saying, if you follow the traditional route in US and go to a good school, good grad school, that kind of thing, I think it's pretty similar to Korea. While I was walking around, I see middle schoolers just getting out of Hagwon at like 10 o'clock p.m., which is crazy. Like they work so hard at a young age. So I think in that aspect, the growth in Korea is much more disciplined and hardworking because from such a young age, these kids are going to hagwons, they're working really hard to go to achieve that like great, college. So I think the competitiveness in Korea is much more extreme in the US.
Okay.
Yeah. So to grow in Korea, I haven't really seen a lot of different aspects other than going to like hagwon, going to a good school and graduating. But ever since the Korean wave, I've seen that kind of expanding where a lot of people have kind of transitioned into K-pop, have transitioned into like filmmaking.
Yes.
So it's kind of becoming a lot more diverse.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good point.
Right.
네.
이제 부동산
네.
이야기.
Okay, so we are working in the real estate industry. So let's talk about the real estate market. So what is the best huge difference?
What's the biggest difference?
Yeah, biggest difference in Korean real estate market and U.S. market.
I think the biggest difference that we could see straight away is that the United States has a lot of land.
Okay.
So because of so much space that we have and that we could work with, there are a lot of different investment opportunities. There's a lot of construction, there's a lot of developments. And I think that's one of the biggest differences because in Korea, you rarely see duplexes or like triplexes or anything like that.
Duplex and triplex?
Yeah. So duplex is two houses in one.
Two houses in one?
Yes. So like two pretty substantially big houses in one house. So they just kind of cut it in half.
Okay, so there is two families, right?
Yeah, two families.
live in one house.
Yes.
That's a duplex.
Yes, but it's divided. So
Okay.
they all have their separate rooms.
Okay.
So duplex is very popular in the United States, especially as investment opportunities, because you could live in one and then you could rent out the other unit.
Okay.
And by doing so, you're able to get like a lot of different tax benefits and depreciation benefits on your property. And I to be honest, I haven't really seen that in Korea. So I think that's another main difference. And also rent in Korea and the United States is a huge difference. I know Korea has chonse where you pay
Yes,
a big key deposit, but in the United States we have nothing like that.
No.
We have a small deposit where it's usually equal to the monthly deposit that you pay every month. but usually the monthly deposit is a little bit higher than Korea. Because you do pay a higher key deposit. So in Korea, you pay a higher key deposit, and the rental 임대 좀.
Yes. So how many times the key deposit to the monthly rent?
Monthly rent in the so it's exactly the same. So let's say you're renting an apartment in LA. So let's say the rent is 3,500.
Okay.
Then the deposit will be 3,500.
10 times.
아니요, 똑같아요.
Same.
네네네.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's exactly the same.
Okay.
Yeah,
In Korea, usually 10 times.
10 times, right? Yeah. So if it's like rent is $1,000, then it's $10,000 for the key deposit, right?
Because it's very hard to 임차인을 내보내는데
네.
한국은 되게 어렵고 그게 한 거의 이제 10달 정도 걸려서
네.
이제 10달치 임대료를 이제 미리 받아놓는 거죠.
그렇죠. 네.
근데 미국은 금방
네.
킥아웃 할 수
네,
있으니.
맞습니다. 그리고 임대하고 디포지트는 똑같고요. 네.
한국의 20대 30대와 미국의 20대 30대가 생각하는 부동산에 어떤 차이가 있나?
So the difference?
예. 한국의 20대 30대는 리얼 스테이트에 굉장히 관심이 많고
네.
참여도 많이 하는데
네.
미국의 20대 30대들도 부동산에 어떻게 뭐 하고 있는지. 예.
Okay.
네.
So I do know that people in Korea, especially the younger generation, are very interested in investing in real estate. But back in the States, I think the same idea resonates where they are very interested in real estate. They see it as a long-term investment. They want to, buy their own property and continue living in it. But I think at this certain time, it's very difficult for the younger generation to buy properties and invest in real estate because our college tuition is very high. So once we graduate from college, we are immediately in debt.
Okay.
Right. So to kind of put, an estimate and kind of to give an example, 1 year in college is about $85,000.
$85,000. Okay.
$85,000. So usually in the US, you go to school for 4 years. So it's $85,000 times 4 years, which is about to $400,000.
Yes. 한국으로는 이제 5억 정도.
$400,000. Let me see.
5억에서 6억 원 정도.
그러니까 한국 돈은 this is 미국 돈. So this much. 그만큼요.
4억.
네. 네. So that's
그러니까 1,000원으로 계산했을 때죠.
네네.
그러니까 이제 1,300원 계산하면은
네.
한 5억 이상.
Yeah, so with this price point, you could pretty much buy a house in the United States. And as soon as you graduate college, you're kind of in this hole, and the interest rate kind of keeps packing up, and you have these interest payments. So it's very difficult for the younger generation to invest in real estate, unless they already have some backing or some kind of credit.
So you can you said that you can choose the 4 years university life,
Right.
and or house,
Or
right?
house, yeah, pretty much, yeah.
오케이. 그럼 이제 고등학교 졸업하고 대학교를 이제 가서 졸업하는 데까지 한 5억 정도 드니까 그 5억을로 대학교를 갈래, 또는 5억으로 집을 살래, 그렇게 선택을 하는.
이거는 많이 없어 because a lot of people don't really understand real estate, and there's a lot of risk to real estate.
그죠.
So when you go to school, it's kind of very safe. After you graduate, you could get a job. But if you invest in real estate, the property value could go down, your mortgage rates can go up.
Yes.
So it's very susceptible to a lot of different risks. So I think the most safe path is to go to school.
How about the young generation in US?
Right.
They prefer buying the house or renting the house.
I think a lot of the younger generation, of course, prefers buying a house, have an asset under their name. But it's very difficult to own a house because of the initial capital that is needed.
Yep.
There is, of course, a lot of different, if I remember correctly, Korea's LTV is like 50-60%.
Yeah, 60 to 80%.
60
it was, but it's lower than now. Now it's maybe 50 to 60%.
50-60%. So I know in the United States, like the standard is 80%.
Okay.
So, and also like you could even go down to like 95% if you have some like type of FHA loan.
FHA loan?
FHA, Federal Housing Association loan.
Okay.
So on that aspect, I think there's a lot of more opportunities for the younger generation to invest in these properties, but it's still very difficult to build up that credit. So I think a lot of the younger generation Americans are just renting.
Okay.
It's a lot easier, you know, less responsibility.
Yes.
You don't have to know a lot about real estate.
Okay.
So just, you know, pay the monthly rent, sign a contract, and you're good.
Okay. I think there are three problems to buy house for young generation. One is we need a high capital,
Right.
5 to 20%
Right.
of total house price.
Right.
And they need a credit to get a debt.
Right.
And third is the information of the market and the real estate.
Right.
그러면은 오늘 이제 그 제프리와 함께 성장에 대한 이야기를 나눠봤는데 오늘 또 이제 귀한 시간 내주셔서
네.
감사드리고
감사합니다.
네, 다음에는 저희가 이제 LA에서 다시 만날 수 있게
네.
이렇게 약속을 하면서 오늘 마치도록 하겠습니다. 감사합니다.
감사합니다.